Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Gochuucast. And this week, we're doing kind of what we did in episode 1, but not. We are going over our top 10 least favorite anime, as opposed to our top 10 favorites. If you haven't seen the favorites episode, I guess you should go watch that, because it's kind of the start of our podcast, but you know.
It'd be kind of weird if you got here and you didn't watch episode 1 or listen.
Perhaps. But, yeah, I forgot to do the random list, so I'll do that right now to see who has to go over their list first. Spad, PK, Dan, okay. And it is PK. We'll go first.
Of course, as always.
Okay.
I think, not as always, but I think I was first in the top 10 episode 2.
I think you were... No, Spat was last. You were sec... No, you were last in that.
Was that?
Yeah, I know I
So we
was
got
first.
balance.
I remember because I did the timestamps or whatever. It was me, and then we got sidetracked off Classroom Delete like 5 times.
Get sidetracked.
And then we got to yours. So yeah, reverse order. It'll be PK, Spat, and then me.
All right, well, my top 10, I have the worst thing I've ever watched. We'll start from that, and then it'll get progressively better, is Gamers. Then I have Rent a Girlfriend, Days, Familiar of Zero, Dan Machi Season 2 specifically, Death Note, Irregular at Magic High School, Darling in the Franxx, Sword Art Online Season 2, and Ahiro no Sora.
I see. Okay, well, spoiler alert for much later. I also hate gamers.
I also hate Rent a Girlfriend.
Let's get the
All
gamers
have
talk out
Rent a
the way.
Girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, Gamers was just like, it felt like something off the premise, and going into it with the art and everything that was going to be enjoyable. But the characters in Gamers act in the most frustrating ways possible. It's almost like it was a show designed to make me mauled about the way that humans are trying to interact.
I've never had more pain watching anything than gamers.
What the heck?
It is... So here's how the plot goes with gamers, is all the characters and all their plots and stuff, the plot is driven forward by misunderstandings, which are already annoying enough on their own. But when you're the entire driving force behind your piece of literature is that nobody understands what the other person is actually trying to do. So, like, I guess spoiler for, like, the very beginning of the show. So there's this dude, right? And he's trying to make friends. And he wants to ask this girl, not to, like, date or anything, but to just be his friend. And then he fucks up.
Okay.
And he accidentally asks her out.
Okay.
And then she says yes, when she's not supposed to. She's like the popular person.
Oh, of course.
But she said yes. And so now he's in this relationship he didn't mean to be in. And that's how everything begins. And it gets worse from there.
And the worst part is, like, every misunderstanding, once you get out of it, there's just another one waiting.
It's
like, it doesn't
just
stop.
Basic human communication should solve all the problems in this show, but no one does that.
Yeah. Most of them are also so infuriatingly easy to get past, and it snowballs. It keeps going. And then even if you get past it, there's just another one standing right there at the next room boss, just waiting.
Wait, but okay, I have to say, misunderstandings in anime are, like, pretty common. What makes this one worse?
It's
because
the sheer
that's the whole
volume.
show.
Yeah, it's the
whole
sheer
show.
volume and level of the misunderstanding.
Look, every now and then there's a misunderstanding, and it's alright, whatever. Anime does this. But usually they're resolved, like, within the episode. Gamers' entire arcs are built off people just being dumb. And not communicating as normal people.
To the point where, like,
when
misunderstandings happen now for me in other shows, I just have, like, flashbacks of Gamers.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's just really, really... Okay, I'm looking at fucking AniList right now, and the top review is, the misunderstandings are what make the anime interesting, and I cannot think of a more boneheaded review.
That's an actually insane.
Thankfully for us, the second review is, where idiots try their hand at love, and we all suffer for it. Yeah, no,
This is such a good copy pasta. It's bad. Just put her in chat.
but yeah, no, gamers is just
Actually, a review I saw on my anime list. I was looking at the anime to get some more context. This is what I saw. Okay, hater. Have you watched Gamers? That alone, I don't know.
masterpiece, the pinnacle of storytelling. Every character is so human and relatable. Surely this has to be.
The gaming.
Please tell me they gave it
Okay.
a 1.
It's a solid 9.5 out of 10.
God dang
Kind
it.
of like Evangelion, but better.
Oh
Okay,
no!
this is
Exactly what it
definitely a
says.
troll review.
It has to be a troll.
Yeah, no, gamers is definitely like outside of like the like the gimmies in terms of like anime that are bad. This is like the worst piece of media I've ever consumed in my life, and I don't think anything will ever be able to top it unless I
I just don't
actively
think
seek it
that
out.
there's. I don't really feel like there was a redeemable quality. That's like the word. Like most of the things on this list, I can still say that there was something redeemable about them for me. But gamers had nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the character list. I don't even remember some of these people.
I'll be honest, I only remember the blonde girl. That's the only character I remember from gamers at this point.
I remember blonde girl, pink hair, obviously the main character, and then the other main dude who's like dating the pink hair. Mainly because they're
Now
the
that I
ones who
see
always
it,
get
I
into
do
shit.
remember. Yeah. Now that I see it, I do remember pink hair.
I think I remember the short-haired one, but yeah, because she was also involved in the misunderstandings. I thought she had blue hair though. I don't remember. I don't know. It's been a while. I spent like 3 months finishing Gamers. I got to episode 9, and I just like contemplated life, and then I finished it eventually. But yeah, no, Gamers is just. I will be hard struck to find a worse anime than Gamers.
Oh, okay, understandable.
Starting off with a very passionate response, but I guess moving on to your second, which is also on my list, Rent a
It's
Girlfriend.
on Spatula's list too. Rent a Girlfriend.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're
all three of us.
all fellow Rent a Girlfriend haters.
And what's funny is that this one's actually like popular. Which
yeah,
is,
but let's be honest.
I guess
it's
why
not
it's kind
popular
of
because
a
it's good.
polarizing. Yeah, that's kind of why it's a polarizing take, I guess. And it does have nice art. I'll give that.
It has good
Yep.
art, but it also has
that's it.
the worst main character in all of anime and manga.
Yeah, that unironically the worst main character I've ever experienced, and probably will ever experience.
Yeah, that guy just frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah, there's
And I think it's one of those things where it's like he's so bad that there's just no way for me to redeem the show. It does. I don't particularly think any of the other characters in the show are great either. But even if they were, I still feel like I would have just gotten equally as frustrated with how bad the main character was that I would have just never finished it.
Okay, so here's my issue with the main character. It's like, yes, I agree. It's because of him mainly. My main issue, it's like so anime characters are like their actions are not necessarily like rational or believable and not necessarily human. This guy, I legitimately believe there's like no human that would act like him. Like I know there are
Yes.
people who are like socially awkward. I know there are people who are like, I mean, it happens, right? But like it's like he like purposely does it. Like it's weird. Like it's just not normal
Well,
behavior.
And I think what it is I feel like the writer is trying too hard to make what he thinks is like a realistic human in like the sense that like we're all kind of shitty people at like some points, right?
he's just
To me,
constantly a shitty person though.
Yeah, to me it feels like the writer's trying to like edgy like make a super like human type of MC that's like extremely flawed, but it
Mhm.
just falls so flat. And he did make a very flawed MC, but like too much.
He's just he doesn't develop him either. So I unfortunately had the displeasure of reading the manga for longer than I should have probably. It's the first thing I've ever like
Mhm.
just dropped.
Yeah.
I don't drop shows. Manga is a little different. Maybe I'll like fall off of reading it or something. But this one, it was so shitty every week I had to keep up with it. And then it got so shit that not even I could consume. the amount of dog shit going on. There's one
And
arc.
to me, like,
and
that's a big deal when Daniel drops something.
if I drop something, you know it's dog shit. That is exactly how that goes. But there's one arc that like I was like, oh, maybe this is like where everything turns around, and this show isn't ass, or and manga isn't ass. But it wasn't. I only read it because someone's like, I swear it actually gets good. And then I thought it was going to, and then the next arc started, and then everything that good happened didn't happen anymore. Like any step that Rent a Girlfriend takes forward, it immediately takes 20 steps back and then shoots its kneecaps off, and you have to wait in the ER for a few weeks. It's just so unbelievably bad.
I've gotten like buzzwords of things that happen in the manga from friends, and it just sounds like a crazy mess.
It's so bad. No. The only redeeming factor of Rent a Girlfriend is Sumi, and she never shows up, and so
She
it doesn't
show
matter.
up, yeah.
She like comes up every now at like once in a blue moon, and then she's gone, and then you're back to all these shitty characters. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone like hard simps for like Chizuru or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
never really
Which
cared
is
for her.
funny. Which is funny because like I'm pretty sure manga readers like very much don't like Chizuru.
think
I
this
don't
should be
think-
like
general
how
consensus.
I don't think manga readers like anyone anymore.
That is true.
There's
Solid
just
point.
I don't know. She's always felt like a just bland, normal.
Yeah, of course she's vanilla, but like people like that for whatever reason.
She's vanilla with
I
very
think a lot of
large
people with
assets.
Rent a Girlfriend just think the show looks good, like animation wise, which
That
it
was
does.
my thoughts.
The
And I
artwork
think
is
that
fine.
that's where the thoughts stop for a lot of people. So it's like, oh, Chizuru, like animated looks good type of thing. And so it's like, oh, Pog. But then you have to ignore the entire show and plot to enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone is just like a plank of wood, and then
Yep.
Mommy is like the most random. Like I know her backstory now.
Mommy doesn't make sense to me
because of her.
through what I've seen. Yeah.
I don't know. I know her backstory now, and I guess I kind of get it. I don't know. She's best girl simply because she can end the show, and she's trying to actively end the show. I can respect that. Trying to end Rent a Girlfriend is definitely something that gives you best girl title. But
Yeah.
I guess moving on from that, since some of these I don't even what is Days? I don't feel like I've
So Days is a soccer show.
Okay.
And Days is interesting because I watch a lot of sports anime, and a lot of them have like overpowered MCs and like players growing and stuff like that. And then the Days MC is like the most pathetic sack of shit of a soccer player ever. And that it's kind of the issue with Rent a Girlfriend, although I don't think that Days MC is a bad character. I think that he is a bad athlete. And for me as a sports fan, it was incredibly hard to watch Days and get behind an MC who I would argue was not good at the sport he was playing. He just was passionate and ran around.
so yeah, he's like Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers.
Yes, but for soccer, exactly.
That's tough. I can see the
Except
dislike.
I don't mind Takemichi from stuff I read in the manga, I will say, but that also was a pretty large amount of content that he had to get before he really started to like feel like a character
I think
in Tokyo Revengers.
as I read the Tokyo Revengers manga, the more I disliked Tokyo Revengers. I didn't care for it much to begin with, but there became a point where saying
There's some weird
Tokyo
things.
Averagers, like I'm not even joking anymore. Anytime I say that, I'm not memeing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it is truly just so meh. Especially the most recent arc. I think a lot of people
What?
agree.
What is Tokyo Revengers? Can you explain? Everybody's talking about the show. There's like this thing called like We Are the Tokyo Revengers. Like, what is it?
Oh, okay. So that is just like I get there's a meme where people like take like the title of a show. You know, like when shows
Yeah,
like
sure,
title
sure.
shows a like title drop or something.
Yeah.
I want to say that stems. There's like a post that like talks about My Hero and like how it might end, and then someone's
Mhm.
like, And then to end it all off, the perfect saying, "This truly was My Hero Academia." I think that's where it all comes from, the meme anyway.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, where that meme that you were
Mhm.
asking about. But Tokyo Revengers itself, I guess a little off topic since none of us hated it enough to put it on our list.
True. True.
So basically, there's this dude, right? Absolute trash human, as most main characters are.
Of course.
Think of him like a lower tier Kazuya.
Okay. Wow. That's okay.
Or a higher tier, rather.
Sure. Yeah, he's better. Okay.
Yeah, he's a slightly better Kazuya. So he one day is like watching the news and he sees that like someone he knew, it was like his ex-girlfriend from middle school or whatever, got killed. And then he goes out and he's like at the train station and someone pushes him in front of the train. But instead of dying, he's like 12 years in the past. And then so his whole thing is like he's gonna try and save his ex-girlfriend from dying or whatever by changing the past.
By changing the past.
It doesn't just like stay in the past though; it like goes between. So it's
He like
not like
switches. Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
seems like each major arc he'll like come back to what is the present and basically check up and then be like, oh, she's still dead.
Yeah.
Maybe a little conflict and he'll head
So
back.
think of it like Steins Gate, but without time machine, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
And also worse characters.
Unfortunate.
It's like a gang thing as well, I guess, is like the main draw for it, but I don't know. I'm at the point in the manga where I literally do not know who anyone is anymore. I know the main characters, and now everyone just looks the same. Because
that sounds about right.
there's like 3 gangs fighting right now, and 2 of them are wearing like the same colors. I don't know who the fuck is who anymore. I don't even know who some of the characters are. They'll be like, "Oh my god, it's that guy," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Who?
who?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
is he?"
that guy. Ooh.
Yeah, that guy. I don't remember him. I don't know. They all look the fucking same. I just want it to end. It should have ended after last arc. But
Understandable.
I do agree with that. I didn't feel like there was a reason for them to do the stuff they did to make it continue, other than like I guess there's some narrative like stuff that wasn't cleared up with that, but even then it's like
it has only
I don't
gone
know.
downhill.
I haven't really read most of this current arc. I basically read up till the end of the last arc and then was like, sigh, I'll
Yeah.
binge this later.
And the villain they built up was like the most underwhelming like villain origin story. I don't know, dude. Anyway, moving back to our lists here.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
something that's not top 10 worst thing that we've all seen, but we do have opinions on.
So I know what Familiar Zero is.
It's not
think-
ReZero.
No, it is.
Familiar Zero
It is an
was
isekai,
like,
I think, though, right?
yeah, it is. Familiar Zero was like weird for me to put because this is kind of like the baseline for me of like show that was objectively bad that I didn't necessarily enjoy, but I just kind of existed while I'm watching. There wasn't really anything like good or redeemable of Familiar Zero. It just was an isekai.
I think I thought about watching it one time, and then like the main girl was like a tsundere or something, like really hardcore, and I just did not feel like dealing with that at the time.
She's like super tsundere.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
necessarily. I don't know. Like this is a weird one because the animation's not particularly good. It has some like really facepalmy animation moments. None of the characters.
Well, it looks like it's pretty old, right?
Right. It is
So-
old, which is part of the thing. I think it has like 2 or 3 seasons also,
That's crazy.
but something like that. Unfortunately, I've watched them all
Yeah, I think it has 3 seasons. I want to say
because that was at the point in time for me also where I had like first started watching stuff and like watching isekais, and I was like, oh, I'll try this, and I watched the whole thing, and then was basically just like, why did I even watch this?
Yeah.
And now I just look back at it, I'm like, that is objectively one of the worst things I've watched, probably.
Okay, so I guess address the elephant in the room. So I haven't
Yeah.
watched Death Note. Spat
I have.
is Death Note is one of his
I'm molding.
favorite anime.
Yes, so
So
this is a very polarizing pick to put here.
Okay, big hot take guy. I get it.
But I could not stand Death Note at all.
Okay, what did you not like about it?
It's just all the like fake smart, like, ooh, I got you, and then they go to the last second and the other guy is like, I had planned for this the whole time.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That's
It was the same. It was the same thing I didn't like about Tomodachi Game, other than the characters being mega cringe in Tomodachi Game.
You don't like Bob the Builder. No, I get it. I mean, you know what? That's like a fair reasoning. Yeah. I mean, it
I
definitely has like
also
some of
think
those
that they're
convoluted things.
like like I said, most of the shows on here. I think Familiar Zero is kind of like a baseline for me, and everything that's like higher than Familiar Zero, there's like something that I would be like, yeah, this is pretty good, or like
Mhm.
I don't entirely hate this for X or Y reason. But I could not stand sitting through Death Note because
Okay.
it just felt like it was just trying to be like it's like the imaginary like games that you play with your friends where it's
Sure.
like
Okay. Fine.
you'll be like, oh, I activated my trap card, and then you'll just be like, oh, you can't do that because my monster card has an effect that
Yes.
cancels out all trap cards, and we're not playing the game, we're just doing it in our heads, but we're just making shit up.
Right.
That's how
Okay. Fine.
that is how Death Note felt. Now, that being said, I have not watched all of Death Note, which is the disclaimer on this. It is
Okay.
I think the only show on here that I have not watched at least like 12 episodes of. So, just that's the disclaimer. I have not watched a large amount of Death Note, but I still felt like it kind of needed to be on the list because I just feel so strongly about how badly I hated the beginning section.
Okay. You know what? Understandable. Understandable.
So what would your gripe be specifically for like Danmachi 2 as compared to 1 or 3?
So with Denmachi, I generally enjoy a lot of the characters, but the Denmachi 2 story just didn't vibe with me. It made no real sense. Narratively, I I don't know. It just for whatever reason, I watched Denmachi 1. I enjoyed it. I thought it set up some good stuff. I watched Denmachi 2, and I just dropped the show entirely up till about what, like a month and a half ago when I watched all of Denmachi 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't remember because I've kind of like blacked out a lot of Denmachi 2 from my memory because I was just like, this was not the direction I wanted the show to go. I know that I think a lot of people have said that the anime for Danmachi 2 was a lot more cringe than like the light novel content. I don't know how accurate that is, but I believe that's what I've heard a decent amount of.
Yeah, I have not read it, so I don't know. I don't even know if
What
it has
season are they on now? Isn't there a season right now?
Season
Season
4 is
4 is
airing right
airing
now.
now.
Insane. All I
But
know
yeah,
about the show is like the blue booba.
The
Hestia is
blue
also an
yeah.
extremely annoying character.
Apparently
okay.
she's
Although
much
I don't
worse
hate
in
her,
anime versus
yeah, I don't hate her as much as a lot of people do, but I still am like not a big Hestia fan in any way. The MC for Denmachi is really good.
I think I like where he is now, though he was a bit of like a baby bitch for the first 2
Yes,
seasons.
yes, and I think that was another thing that frustrated me in a lot of season 2. Season 1, he was a baby bitch, but he like felt like he was growing, right? So I could forgive some of it. Season 2, he was still a baby bitch, and I was kind of like, are we over this yet?
Season 3 I think is where he like gets his sea legs really. And season 4, at least like within the first episode, it made him seem like he's definitely grown
He's like
to be
grown.
not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
baby bitch.
Yeah.
There is another
So-
one. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hmm?
I was
I
just
didn't
gonna
say
point out Irregular Magic High School. I feel like I started that show, but I just didn't like the characters. Like
Yeah,
Okay. Also, it is like the incest thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of incest.
a
We
regular
do a little
Magic
bit.
High School might be a little bit of timing for me too, because it is a show that I tried to start very early into watching anime, and it was probably my first exposure to like cringe incest anime themes, which is still not something I'm like particularly fond of, but it was like very bad at the beginning with this show. But I kind of kept with it for a bit because I thought the world was kind of cool and the way that they use magic and everything, but it was just no. I couldn't get behind all the shit that was going on with it.
Yeah, I don't really know
Yeah.
much about it other than like it's generally popular. Um,
There's a lot of cool things about it, but I think it was, like I said, perhaps timing, but I think the cringe incest plot lines were like too much for me to really get behind.
yeah, I can't. I guess I can't really say anything on that, considering I hold Kisses in a high regard.
I mean, I like domestic girlfriends, so it is what it is.
And like
Yeah,
I said, maybe nowadays I wouldn't mind it as much, but when I watched it, it was very much like this is weird as shit.
I hate that animes like desensitized me to that. I'd be like, oh, here we go again with the incest, and it's like,
Yeah. They're just like laugh it off. As we're like this season watching my stepmom's daughter is my ex, and just like
yeah,
aha,
yeah. I'm also watching Cuckoo's and like his like fake.
Cuckoos
Well,
is
the
also yeah.
person he thought was his sister, who is now not his sister technically because of like the parent switching thing or baby switch, is to like it seems to be an option for him to go down. And I'm like, already then. I don't know how like you even get to that point where like I understand that like you've realized that like you're not actually siblings, but now it's like you have acted as siblings for you know your 15 years of your life. So
Well, and that's like one of the biggest issues I think with the way that a regular Magic High School does it is that they are siblings, like they act like
Yep.
siblings with each other, right? It's not like they're just like aha, my stepbro or anything like that. Like they, in non like incesty scenes, they act exactly how like real siblings should act in a lot of cases. And I think that's part of the thing that makes it the most uncomfortable is because it's not like trying to desensitize you to the fact that they are siblings. It's just saying, yep, they are siblings and they want to fuck.
yeah,
Classic.
okay. Last one from your list, I guess that we'll take. Darling in the Franks. Was this something that you liked at the beginning and then hated? Because I feel like that's what it was for a lot of people.
What I heard too.
Yeah. I well, I think liking at the beginning might be a strong way to put it, but I thought it was solid at the beginning, and it. I think I actually got off of it a little earlier than a lot of people, but I did like the 0-2 backstory and everything that we got. But the ending just like tanked it for me. And
That's what I heard.
this is also a victim of, like I said, I don't think there's a lot of shows that I uh, really specifically hate that I
Okay.
have actually given enough time that I could put on this list. So it is like, oh, Darling and Franks had a bad ending, or like Sword Art Online 2 right above it is just like had weird vibes, especially at the end of Gun Gale, and I didn't particularly care too much for the Mother's Rosario arc either.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two, and Hiro no Sora are kind of just like I needed three more things to put on the list, and these are probably the three things that I would rate the lowest of like what was left.
So not super hate, just
It's
not
not a
the
super
best.
hate, but yeah, Darling in the Franks did have an absolutely atrocious ending, and
Okay.
that's I think
Okay.
when a show builds me up to a point where I'm like, okay, I can kind of rock with this, and then screws the ending, that's like one of the worst defenses for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, understandable.
All right. Moving on
Okay.
to Spatula's list here. If you'd like to just go over them, and then we can pick the fruit.
Okay, note that I included shows I dropped, which it has two sides. First of all, which Daniel will tell me, which is correct. so I won't dispute him and I won't argue with him, is that if you drop it, it's like best to give it a chance, and you never know, you might like it, right? So you know what? Fair on that. But the other point is like, if I don't like a show that much, I'm probably not going to watch the whole thing. So it's like,
I
you know,
understand the concept of dropping. I just don't
I
do
know,
it.
I
You
know,
just
I know.
don't like
Listen,
to. Yeah.
I understand, Mom. I get it.
But then at the
Okay,
same
so my
time,
list. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you can go.
My list. First one was my first anime ever, Aoshan Can't Study.
I can't believe
Yeah,
this is your
whatever.
first anime.
It's
Yeah,
crazy
I can
that it's
believe
your
it either.
first anime.
And the rest of them, a lot of them are just again like what PK said, where it's like I don't like hate them. It's just like I couldn't watch it or I didn't like certain aspects of it. So maybe it's not bottom 10. I don't know. Erased, Terror and Resonance, Run with a Girlfriend, which everybody had, Akame ga Kill, Infinite Stratos. The next one is How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, Saikano. I don't know. There's like a really long name for that. Redo of Healer, Shinsekai Yori, and Sword Art Online. Okay, so again, some of these I didn't like certain aspects of it, which made me not want to watch it. So I guess that's why it's like a bottom anime. But like,
Okay.
there were certain parts I liked. So.
You seem like you really want to explain Sword Art
I
Online
do.
and Shinsekai Yori
Okay,
in the
the thing I don't
post.
like
So
about
let's
Sword Art
start
Online
with
has
those.
nothing to do with it being good anime or not. It's that I can't take animes that like are in a video game like seriously. Like I can't. I just can't.
I
Like I
feel
just
like that's
cannot
such
take.
a random gripe.
That's such a
I
yeah.
know.
Why
I
would
know.
you
That's why I said I
why
will
would you
explain.
actively choose to watch Sword Art Online if you cannot
Oh,
take
because
it
a lot of
seriously?
people watch it.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about it.
I guess that is fair in regards to Sword
Okay,
Art
sure.
specifically.
Yeah.
Now, if he was saying it was like Bofery or MMO junkie, and he was like, I can't take animes and video games seriously,
If you
then it would be
try
like,
to take
why were you
Bofuri
watching
seriously,
those?
there's no point.
I just heard Sword Art Online is like really popular, so I decided to watch it, but it just wasn't for me.
Okay.
I do like the opening theme for that song. That song is slaps, bro. Slaps.
I
Wait,
am interested. So Shinsekai Yori, I think that's
oh my
to
gosh,
another word. So this is actually like pretty like highly rated, I think. Like
dude.
at least above like
Yeah.
8s for the most part, I believe. I haven't watched it. I think I've had it on my plan-in maybe, but
Yeah.
so what
So I don't want to turn you off from it because again, it's highly rated. So I mean, probably a lot of people like it, and I can see why. It's like, um, the issue I had with it. Okay, I gave it a fair chance. Like I legitimately feel like I gave that show a very, very fair chance. I dropped that show like 7 times, and I picked it up every single time and went to the next episode, and I just could not do it after episode like 12. So I got halfway through, which is like a decent amount. Maybe not the end. Maybe there's no payoff. Whatever.
mm-hmm.
I just like found the show like very convoluted, and maybe that's the point. But it just made it like very hard to follow. And like when a show is like hard to follow, it's like hard for me specifically to keep watching. I think it's like a very like uh maybe introspective anime. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like thinks a lot about like human nature and like society and stuff like that. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of these deeper themes, and that's fine. I think that's good. But just for me personally, it's like very hard to follow along with an anime. Um, but I can understand why people like it. It's like the story is very interesting. Like it's I shouldn't say very interesting if I dropped it, but it's like I can see why people like it for sure. So I don't think it's like bad. It's just it's hard for me to like an anime like that. That's all.
Okay.
And I gave it a
So
fair shot. So
Redo of Healer's also on my list, but how far did you actually get into this?
episode 3, I couldn't handle it.
I thought you would have dropped it after what happened in 2.
Yeah, well, listen, I gave it a shot. It's just like gross. Like I don't know. That show is just
I
like
mean,
weird.
you're right. We don't need to
Yeah,
It's just
explain
like-
much.
I've never watched any of Redo of Healer. But
No,
we
you're good,
talked
you're good.
A lot
It's not-
about
it's
Redo
not-
of
it's
Healer
not
on this podcast, so I think I have an idea of a lot of the gripes.
It is marketed at a certain kind of person that needs to think very carefully
Marketed
about.
a very certain kind of person.
Yeah, but it's not even like it's like a type of person, but like they need to think very carefully about like what they're
How do you
into and whether that reflects on their real life actions.
how do you
That's all.
How do you sit down and draw that? Is my question. I don't know.
Tell us how you really feel.
I
Um,
feel like it takes a lot to sit down and be like, yeah, you know what?
Just
Sure.
I could not do it. I could not do it. I could not do it. If you
Uh,
could, I mean, Daniel loves. I mean, Daniel hates that show.
Yeah, I
but
was saying it's
You
literally on
watched
my
it.
list. And you know that.
it is on your list. Yeah, I caught myself. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, other like I would say like Akame ga Kill and Infinite Strauss and How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, like those three, I like kind of started and I got like I don't know maybe halfway through and I just kind of got bored. I don't know. I don't have a better reason. Akame ga Kill, like
I think
I felt
that's
like
a
the
fair
story was very
reason.
strange. So
Akame got Kill. So how far did you get into Akame got Kill?
I don't want to spoil, but
No, that's fine. That's fine. Akame got Kill is an interesting one to have on here because I feel like a lot of people would have it on here, like this type of list for specific reasons. But if you haven't finished the show, I don't know how much those.
I know what
fans
happens at
would
the end.
like.
So there's that.
Exactly. I
That's
think
not
the
why,
way
but
it ends to me is like I could see a lot of people being pissed off at it about the way that it ends.
yeah, I just didn't like the direction the show was heading, and I didn't find it like rewarding or whatever to watch. Like I just wasn't interested enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how did you not go into Saikano knowing that you probably
That it was
weren't?
going to be boring.
It literally has boring in the title, and you
I was about to say that.
has a
I mean, it
hard
literally is
time
boring.
getting through anime. Decided
I don't know,
that
man.
this was the opportunity.
I think this is like the third anime I ever like started or whatever.
I feel
I
like
just
this,
like
this is why you don't finish anime. You just kind of like watch things, and then you just
I really
decide
feel
that.
like you just like throw a dart at a dartboard
yes,
and then like pick
yes.
whatever show you see.
There you go.
You're like,
I
man,
did.
I hate video game anime. Time to watch Sword Art Online. Man, I get
Okay, I
really
didn't know it was a
bored.
video game anime, bro.
How do you
I know
not
it says
see
online.
Sword Art Online and not be like, you know what? That might be a video.
I mean, I thought it was related, but like not like that.
And you're like,
You know what I mean?
man, I hate getting bored at anime. Let me watch How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. I don't
Maybe
understand.
the show was about how they were originally boring and they became exciting later on or interesting later on. Oh my gosh, I have
If anything, it sounds like it would be the opposite, woun't it? Like you take an exciting girl and turn her into your boring girlfriend.
okay, yeah. You know what? You know what? You might be right. Listen, I do not have the mental capacity to like read into titles and understand what's going on. So I just picked it and I watched it. I didn't like it. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
The other one on here that's really interesting to me because I've only ever heard people say good things about it is
Uh-huh.
Erased.
I will say,
Okay, actually,
people don't like
Okay,
the
well, go ahead.
ending usually.
That is
Yeah.
true. I think I have heard people say that the ending was not like their favorite. But even then, I just feel like I still don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
if
yeah.
people hate on
No,
Erased.
I don't hate. Okay, so first of all, this list isn't in order.
This is just
but
a list, and you haven't watched that much stuff, so it's logical that like this list does not mean these are all dog shit.
yeah, and if they were, I probably forgot about them. Honestly, that's like the truth. So anyway, Erase is like, I like the show, like, or I like parts of the show, but I just felt like I don't know if it was the ending or if it was like the way the episodes were structured, but it felt like there was a climax at a certain part, like more than halfway through the show, and then the remaining episodes did not appropriately um did not appropriately conclude the show. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not that the ending itself was bad, like the result of the ending or whatever. Like that's
It
fine.
didn't feel like
It's just like the
what you
approach to
wanted
the
it.
ending was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
weird. I don't know, pacing or whatever, plot design, whatever you want to call it.
So like
That's why I like just like left a bad taste in my mouth.
the
That's all.
climax happened, and you didn't feel like it resolved the effects of that climax properly.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it just felt weird.
Okay.
I don't hate the show. I think it's like fine, and I see why people like it. I mean, I like parts of it. Yeah, just not everything. That's all.
So what's the
So-
story between you and Ao-chan? How did this become your first? Because I feel like that's a
I don't know. I just
hard.
picked it.
That's a hard.
That's
first.
a hard first. Like maybe you, because like people talk about like I watched Dragon Ball or whatever because it was on TV.
Okay.
I
You
watched
know, but, like,
Naruto on.
Does that
TV.
count? Then
Yes,
my first
it-
anime
yes,
was
it ca-
Pokemon.
I don't.
Okay, I don't.
Okay, sure.
But like,
Sure.
okay, I can see like why you wouldn't count Pokemon because like that feels more like a Saturday morning cartoon or something like that. But
Mhm, yes.
I feel like there are
It is an
levels
anime.
to it.
Okay.
Why? Because like technically, I guess Pokemon would be my first then, as opposed to Dragon Ball. But Dragon Ball was like the first one that felt like anime, I guess.
Yeah, that's like Naruto was the first thing that I
wait,
was really into.
You're like
that.
okay, so you wanted to watch an anime, I suppose.
Yes.
So-
2020.
So you could have chosen anything under the sun,
Anything.
and you chose the one that lasts between like 6 to 12 minutes an episode, and is egregiously horny. Not even egregious,
Yes.
but it's like
And-
generally horny.
When you
And
put
you
it
get
that
shed.
way, yeah. When you put it that way, I'm not surprised.
That's the thing. It actually because it was the first anime. Maybe I didn't hate it as much as at the time. So I sought after similar animes, and then I started hating those. So then I had to change which animes I was looking for. You know what I mean?
So that's
It's
how
like-
I felt about the first season of ReZero for a while. Is I like watched ReZero as like one of the first 10 or so anime I probably watched. I was like, oh, this is kind of gas, and I watched everything else, and was like, nah. Second season comes around, don't watch it for forever. Till
Sure.
3-4 months ago at this point.
Yep. Okay, makes sense.
I still just like it's not even like uncensored horny. It's just like implied
It's just-
horny.
Yep.
That
I
is
just
just you
I
don't
don't
even.
It's a
because
you
like
don't
meme.
even-
It's a
'cause-
meme show.
I don't know because
That
my
is
like
true. You don't even get like the
Yeah,
horny.
it's not.
because my fourth anime ever was DxD, but that's like if you're gonna go into something horny, that's like a starting grounds, right? There's
Yeah, I watched that show.
there is uncensored titty to be have.
That's
Outchen
true.
is not that.
It's not.
So I don't
I don't know.
cannot. How did you stumble across this?
I don't know. Good question. I don't even remember anymore. I think I probably was just like, actually, no, I legitimately don't remember. But anyway, it's bottom 10. I mean, like in retrospect, I just like did not really like the show. So there it
That's
is.
fair. I'm with Daniel. I just don't know how you got there.
I'm almost
Me
scared
neither. No,
I had a
I'm with you
part-
guys. I don't know.
When did you watch this?
Early 2020 when COVID hit.
I'm kind of scared.
You
I
may-
might have been.
you may have had a part in that.
I might have had a part in doing this to you.
Really?
I might have. I don't know. I'd have.
Sounds about right.
I would be generally unsurprised if I accidentally put you onto it in like Joey Court or something.
That sounds right. Maybe we'll see.
I'd be unsurprised if I searched Outchan in there and you like coomed about it. I don't know.
Yeah, the dad in that show is like very strange individual. So
Yeah, like literally a foot tall, trying to get his daughter to fuck this dude. Yeah, it's a little weird.
yeah,
I guess last one for your list, sticking with the horny. What compelled you to watch Infinite Stratos? Because that's another.
I think it was the same era.
Same era of him just
Yep.
cooking Russian roulette style, whatever he saw.
Yeah,
That
dude,
was
I'm telling you.
That
Was the
that
same-
is like the good old days of watching anime, right? Is you're just scrolling on like a Netflix or
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
service or site you're on, and you just look for a show that has a cool cover art or something, and just say, "I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna watch this."
No, that's literally it. Yeah.
That's how
Well,
I
also, I
watched
like the
Lodge
opening
and-
of that show. That opening is a banger.
Okay, I'd like to
Opening is-
bring up some receipts. So I
Wait, why?
I looked up Outchan in Joey Cord, and from
Oh, no.
user Spatula. Has anyone here seen Outchan Can't Study? I'm on episode 7. I can't stop. It's so good.
First anime, bro. Is a retrospect. Is a retrospective.
I didn't
dislike.
even put you onto this.
You didn't. I know. I'm telling you. It was like the first animes. It was like the first thing I saw. Like, well, what do you want?
That is
I don't know, dude.
hilarious.
Whatever.
My,
There's the lore.
because my message before, so it's my message is like right before Spat asks if anyone has seen it. It's like 3 months after I say Outchan Can't Study his ass, and then 3 months later he asks if anyone has seen it. All right, you know what? Moving on.
Again, I can't explain it.
I guess it's time for
He
my
also
list.
has some messages about it in Pips as well.
Oh my god,
It's
this
the
guy.
same thing. And then there's just an entire conversation underneath of me and Fee playing random gotcha games.
Understandable.
I guess going on to my list after
Yes.
the confusion here. So my number 1 is also gamers, but then we move on to Orient, Platinum End,
Okay.
Redo of
Okay.
Healer, Plunderer, Ore Shura, Rent a Girlfriend, Tact Up Destiny, Sora No Method, and Dragon Ball GT.
Okay, what's the origin of the title "Tacked Off Destiny"? Like, it's such a strange title. Is there a reason
I
it's
think
titled that way?
That's like a musical type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there is also the main character's name is Tucked, and
Okay.
the main girl is named Destiny.
Oh. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's like that too.
But I don't know. Talked Up Destiny is like
Unless they have like music fights or something.
something like that. Their music is in fact involved. The animation was really good for it. It was a MAPPA thing, a MAPPA anime original. It was made to like mainly like promote a game, but I just it's just so it started with promise, I think, and then it just took the characters and like gave them Mickey Mouse character development that didn't feel earned, and then the last two episodes were just like horrendously bad, and I don't know, I couldn't take it seriously by the end of it. I just felt like anything like good it didn't do enough, or it didn't follow up on that,
Mhm.
and so it just kind of felt like people only like watched it for the monkey fights, and there's just I don't know, there's just no substance behind the show because they couldn't do anything. It'd be like one episode character development. I don't know, and sometimes like a character would develop and then they'd like step away from that and then they go back to it when they need to. I don't know. It was just
Oh, I hate
really
that.
poorly written.
Yeah.
Like so, like the main character, well, the main girl has like you know, Takina from Licorice, her voice.
Hmm.
Well, her
Mhm.
like her like robotic like kind of sounding voice is basically what the main girl in Talked Up Destiny is doing the whole time. It's same voice actors, so you get that like for the whole time, and then she gets her Mickey Mouse character development, and she stops doing that for like a little bit, and then she goes right back to it, and then at the end she stops
Uh,
for the emotional moment,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's like okay, why couldn't you just like stop in general? I don't know. It was just I don't know. It was a bad show. I hated it.
It's interesting because I think I've had this recommended to me before, just purely because I enjoy like musical anime.
The music in it isn't even like that good. They take like old
Yeah, I've
like
never heard any music
they
from
take
this.
like
That
old classical music and then just like slap it into the fights, and that's how it works. The OP does slap though. The OP slaps like a motherfucker. I cannot say that about anything else about the show though.
fair enough.
Understandable. Let me
I want
think.
to. Me and Daniel have talked about this a lot, but
Have you?
Orient at number 2 is fun because Orient's by the same author as Magi, which is a show that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Mug?
So I guess Orient and Platinum End are kind of in like the same group in here of things
Yeah,
that
Platinum End
the
also has that.
authors for them have highly praised works. Orient, a lot of people like Magi, and Platinum End, a lot of people like Death Note. But dear Lord, Orient and Platinum End are so fucking bad. I'll start with Orient because that's what you brought up. But Orient, I want you to close your eyes. Let's like do a little imagining thing here. I
Okay.
want you to imagine a red wasteland with a bunch of rocks everywhere. Now plop a big demon that just I don't even know. You can think of whatever the fuck. It can look like anything. Just plop a big demon in the middle of those
Okay.
rocks. And now take 3 small humans with annoying personality traits and drop them fighting that demon. You have now watched every
You've
episode
watched
of
one
Orient.
episode.
You have watched everything about Orient. So it starts off like okay, so it's like Japan like taken over by this like demon race or whatever. And there's a bunch of demons and some like cities they've like captured and enslaved. So our main
They're all
character
like brainwashed to like be like, oh, the demons are our lords and saviors and shit.
yeah, so the main character is from one of these villages and he's not with that. And so of course what makes no fucking sense. This dude has a katana.
Giant
He has a
pickaxe.
big ass pickaxe with swords for like pickaxe, like smacky things. I don't know what the fuck you call it. You wouldn't call it the blade, I
Yeah.
guess. But like the part you would smack into
Blade
stuff.
works, I
He,
guess.
he basically has like swords. Who the fuck gave him that? Where did he get it from? There's not even an origin story to it. Why does he get
Yeah.
this special pickaxe? And everyone, I don't know. And it also suffers from like everyone important. You can tell who the main characters are. Like everyone has like the most base looks, and then there's this dude and like he's got no shirt, he's got a hoodie, and really spiky red hair and earrings, just like literally from the top of his ear through the bottom, just stabbed through. Like he's got pillars in his ear.
It's
And
funny
it's
to
like,
see the characters as like a Magi fan, because when I was watching episode 1, it was basically like, does this character look like they could be in Magi? And if they do, that's a main character. That's the game.
but yeah, he just, I don't know. It makes, the first episode makes like literally no sense, and it just gets worse from there. The only saving grace for Orient is that Rie Takahashi like takes her job too seriously in it. Like she could definitely like coast through Orient. No one's gonna blame her for it, but she does her best no matter what. And that is like the only thing I can say gets me through any episodes. Unfortunately for season 2, she hasn't been in the past couple episodes, and I hate everyone and everything, and so it makes it a little harder. It's not, I don't know, it's just not an interesting world. Everything's just fucking rocks. There's rocks everywhere. It's just red rocks. And that is the landscape. Every scene you look, it is just. I could have drawn the background for this anime. It's just so like bland and bleh, and there's no reason for me to care. I'm not invested in what Orient is trying to sell to me, and it's like, it's an action anime, but it's one of those action animes where the action is like, they'll like show the character like slashing, or not even slashing, they'll like show them like raise their sword and yell or whatever with like the shaky cam, and then they'll show like the aftermath of the slash or whatever, and so it's just stiff. I don't
Okay.
know.
Not good animation. Nope.
And I have seen the first episode of this when it first aired, and I basically was like, I need to wait to find out if this is going to be good or not, so I can binge it, because the first episode, like Daniel said, it was very confusing and left me honestly with more questions than answers. The two main characters you introduced in the first episode are like pretty cringe with each other in the first episode as well.
I don't know. Yeah, they're
They're
just
like,
the whole
yeah.
thing's cringe. So is Platinum End. Platinum End is also cringe. So this is from the Death Note author. So Platinum End is about basically, I think it was 13 people who tried to end their lives and were saved by angels. Like the main character, he tried to jump off a building or whatever, and then Angel caught him. So they are now god candidates, and basically at the end of like a 999-day period, they're gonna hold like an election to see which of them becomes god, and it turns
all
into
for
like,
trying to kill themselves.
I guess, I don't know. I forget what like the explanation for like
The
why.
selection process just sounds a little weird.
I can't remember exactly why they wanted suicidal people. I don't know if it was because, I don't remember. Anyway, that's,
One other. Oh, good.
no, go ahead. I don't know what I was going to say.
Okay, one show. I feel like I've seen this. Like, actually, I saw a good portion of this show. Is Orashura? It's like the one with the silver hair girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is actually also one of the first anime I've ever seen,
Yeah.
or like maybe first 10.
I'm guessing you dropped it.
Yeah, but I watched a good amount of it. Like, okay, well, I don't know what good amount. Yes, I did drop it. I didn't like it that much. Why did you not like it?
So I actually haven't finished it either. It's on
Oh,
hold.
wow.
It is
Okay.
on hold
Okay.
because at the time, it's just, I liked one character in it, right? And she just got shit on the whole time. In like the 4 episodes I watched, she's just getting, they're just mean to her. And it's the only character I like, and she's getting bullied. I'm like, why do I need to watch this right now? And so I stopped. I'll finish it eventually, but I just hate
Copium?
I hated everyone except for one person, and that one person gets shit on constantly. Like I don't know.
The rare Daniel Holt.
The rid, and yeah, I don't have too many on hold, so I have like let me see. I know I have Decadence on hold. That one I just stopped watching for no real reason. I didn't really like it that much either, but I did pause that. Kanon, I'm 7 episodes into. I just wasn't vibing with it, and I'll come back to it at a later point in time. I'm sure it gets better in like the second half or something. To Lever Darkness, for some reason, I watched 7 episodes, and 5 years later, I have not watched episode 8 for no reason. But
You'll finish it eventually.
I will finish
Go.
it eventually. I'm like right at the end. So, and then I have Darkness second to watch. And it's like, so Leveru knows what it's doing. It's like, it's just really horny, and it does what it does. But Yeah, or Ashura, all I remember like about it other than like I hated everyone was that like the main girl doesn't wear like panties or whatever. And that was a thing, but
It's a somewhat random quirk, but
indeed. But yeah. Um Plunderer at number 5 was
Never heard of it.
the
so
only
is it?
thing I know about Plunder is the opening song, or I think it's the opening. The one song Plunderer, which is a pretty good song.
yeah, so Plunder has a
Okay.
really cool world concept, right? Imagine something that seems very interesting and then take it and then put the worst characters imaginable playing it out.
Okay.
And that is
Okay.
Plunder. Let me
Can you
make
describe the world for us a little bit?
so basically in this world of Plunder, everyone has what is called a count. And that,
Okay.
so it's like there's a number on like some place of their body, like their arm, their leg, something like that. And so depending on like what you do with your life, that count can go up or it can go down. Everyone has like a thing about them that they do that can make it go up or down. So the main girl, her thing is like how many kilometers she's walked, which I don't even know how the fuck you'd make it go down from that. Um, but like every, however, or it's like every, I don't know. She's just like some weird number of like kilometers. Like she gets one. Um, and then like the main dude is his thing is how many girls reject him, and he's got a pretty big count. But
Hell
it's an
yeah!
interesting like world concept of like, and if your count drops to 0, you get dragged into the abyss. I forgot to mention that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
if your count goes to 0, you're basically just fucked. And so there are people in the world known as aces, and basically they have like ridiculously high counts. And if you there's also like an item called like a lottery or something that like holds like it can maybe hold like 10,000. So you can like whenever you need to, you slap that shit on and you'll gain 10,000 and you'll be the higher your count, like the stronger you are technically, or the more authority you have in the world. I don't know. It's like it's a cool world concept, but like the characters are just
But it just doesn't.
insufferable.
Yeah.
And the anime did not.
Actually, no, like Final Fantasy, the Doom counter. I don't know. That was just like something that just popped in my head. But go ahead.
The anime did not do it any favors either. So like one of the like the biggest reveals of like the entire season. Uh,
What?
s- I'm not gonna say the thing, but I mean I can.
Fair, fair, fair.
But so before one of the biggest reveals of the season, they like got to an awkward part where so it's a 2 core anime, right? For some reason, I guess because it was weird to end off where it would have. But before the big reveal, they don't want to do it in whatever episode they would have, and I think they wanted it at like the end of an episode, and so they just throw like a filler cooking contest in
Oh
there,
no.
and it makes no fucking sense at all. They just had to like extend the episode by however many minutes so they could get to the end. And it's like it's a really cool reveal. I don't know. The manga art's pretty good, I'll say. I haven't read it in a really long time. But it's just disappointing, I guess. It had a lot of potential with the world concept and it failed.
You just couldn't get behind any of the characters in the end.
Yeah, like the main guy is like a huge pervert. Like like when did the manga start actually? Okay, it started in 2014, so I think it was like a product of its time type of thing, where being sexually harassing people was like a character quirk, I guess.
Yeah, anime moment.
Yeah,
Anime moment.
but yeah, that's basically where I stand with Plunder.
Uh, that thing I mentioned, Tact Op Destiny. I feel like you had one of the characters as your profile picture for a week, and then it just like disappeared. What
Um,
happened?
yeah, I had Destiny as well. Okay,
Okay.
I didn't have Destiny. I had so Destiny like character backstory or whatever. She like was another person, and then that person got clapped, and then like Destiny took over. I forget what the fuck the name of the other girl was, but she got clapped. I had her as the profile picture. I have to look. Hold on.
I'm also curious why you're looking. Dragon Ball GT. I know that like GT is like totally non-canon at this point, right? Because of Super being written and everything. But is there a specific reason otherwise that GT's on here?
GT is like, did you ever watch any of Dragon Ball or like the GT or anything like that?
No, I have not. I
I
know
may
basically
have
the story of OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z through games and like watching my friends play the video games and stuff like that, but I've never actually watched.
Yeah, so GT is like, it just felt disrespectful to the series, I guess. It was just nothing, I don't know, it was just bad. Like, they took Goku and they turned him into a kid. And it's like, we've already been through this. I've watched Dragon Ball. Like, I don't need to deal with this shit. Also, Cosette was the name of the girl before Destiny. But Dragon Ball GT, it's just, I don't know, it was just bad. There's nothing particularly. They had like
They didn't
maybe
like
some,
enhance the
it maybe
world
had
or
some
anything
interesting
for you.
ideas, but it took Goku, it turned him into a kid again, so it just nerfed the living fuck out of him. And who wants a nerfed Goku? And for some reason, like Super Saiyan 4 turns him adult again, but obviously he can't hold it forever. It just makes no sense. And then, I don't know. It had interesting ideas, but I just didn't think that it just wasn't good. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I can't like give the most in-depth analysis on it, but it's just it was not good. And I guess to end this off here, Sora no Method. This is why I don't watch anime clips and then watch the anime if I like the clip.
Oh,
So
look,
I can post the emote into the. Actually, I'll just post the fucking.
there's an
GIF.
emote. There's
Yeah,
an
so
emote.
well, I have an emote of it, but this was like the
Oh,
clip basically. I thought it was really cute. I'm like, all right,
okay.
I'll watch that. I watched it. It was shit. Um, Nothing against the character in the GIF I just posted. Her name is Noelle, but I don't know. All the characters in that show are so fucking annoying. So there's this girl, right? And her whole quirk is that like she fucking hates. So there's a big saucer in the sky, right? That
UFO?
like
No?
yeah, no, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a big light kind of.
Okay.
We'll just they
Okay.
call it the saucer though, because it's kind of like
Okay.
shaped like one. And she despises this thing because one time, she was out. She like ran away from home. I forget why, but she ran away from home because she's a little brat. And then her brother came out looking for her, and then he like, I can't remember. He got injured in some capacity and had to go to the hospital. And now she hates the saucer because of that. When it was her fault, because she's the dumb fuck that ran out the house. And so she blames the saucer, and that's like a whole character quirk. And she gets mad at like the main character and all this other stuff over the saucer. And it's like, everything is your problem. You caused these things, and yet you're blaming other people. It's just so annoying.
Daniel's the type of guy to call his kid a dumbass.
yo, so am I.
I would never do that to my own kid, but these like, I don't know, dude. I've never seen a show that like I can look at like at anime like characters and kids or whatever and be like, okay, they're what are their kids? They're dumb. But this character is so fucking stupid, and she's not the only one. So they go through this whole thing, and they develop this one character who is like kind of cold towards everyone, and then they weren't, and then the next episode they went back to being cold. Like we just got over this shit. Like why the fuck? And there was a reason for it, but it was a shitty reason. I don't know. It's just so annoying. And don't even get me started on the end, which like takes everything and then just breaks it. Anything good that did happen was thrown away. It was just such a frustrating show.
I feel like you've mentioned this show before and you just like disliked it.
I've
So,
definitely shit on it before. It was
It's
really
also
hard to watch.
interesting because like he picks it up in AMQ and stuff like that sometimes, so I didn't really expect to see it in his top 10 least favorites.
I'll pick it up on AMQ because no one knows the songs to
No
it.
one knows it. No one should know it, but
Yeah, like because like the opening really sounds like it'd be like a visual novel opening or something like that. Like you could like I could pick it up, and if it was like Alcana, you wouldn't even be surprised. But it's just bad. It's so bad. It was infuriating to watch, and that is why it is in my top 10. I think I was probably even too kind to it. Like when I first finished it, I'm like, I didn't like this, but it wasn't awful. But like I think back to it, I'm like, this was so like abhorrent, and, like insulting to watch.
a lot of shows, I don't know, at least for me, maybe you guys are different. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's so hard for me to in a lot of cases to watch shows with like a lot of children just because they like make me mad. I don't know why, but it's just like it's really hard. Mostly because they're like irrational, I guess.
Well, it's also
So
like even at this point, at the age that I'm at, sometimes even watching like teenager shows are it
mhm,
can be really. I mean, that's
frustrating.
gamers. Like gamers is like the most toxic way you could possibly make teenage characters, but it's like the
Yeah.
same thing. Like those misunderstandings are things that teenagers like do to some extent, not to the extent that gamers does it, but like it
Mhm.
is true that like watching shows where like the entire cast is primarily younger than you and it's driven by like them making stupid decisions is extremely frustrating.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, no, a lot of dumb fuck characters in anime, a lot of bad anime in general. But we're done talking about bad anime because that's the end of this episode here. It was episode 12. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you should subscribe so you can see all of our following episodes. We will upload every Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. Have not missed it once yet. Almost have one time. We're not going to talk about that.
Almost did, yeah, just the one time.
But you can also listen to us on audio only platforms. We are on Spotify and other things like Apple Podcasts, etc. You can find our anchor link in the description below. But yeah, that has been this episode of Gochuucast, and we hope to see you next week. Goodbye.